the formula to success in property. Hey, what's up guys, Dan Javidi here, hope you're all well. So I've just stopped on a little journey for a Tesla Supercharge, and I thought it was a great opportunity to record a video of a topic that I was thinking about. And that topic is the successful formula that I've adopted, which I rinse and repeat over and over again to succeed in property. And it isn't about the type of market that you invest in or even the type of properties that you buy. It is a formula, a process which can be adopted anywhere around the country, anywhere around the world, as long as you know all the key indicating points. But as ever, before we get started, I just need you all to do me a huge favor, and that is to smash the like button and don't forget to hit subscribe. Those of you who have been watching my videos for a little while now will know that I really like to hit home about understanding your target market, the type of properties that you can buy in order to achieve a successful property portfolio. But I have realized that it doesn't actually matter where you live, what type of market you're targeting, and even what type of property you want to invest in. What is important is the formula from start to finish in order to scale up your property portfolio and rinse and repeat it over and over again. This week, it's come to me for two reasons. One, because I haven't had a huge amount to do. I've spent most of my week sitting in the office, watching the news and drinking cups of tea. And also, I've putting together a new model for a slightly different take on one of my current businesses. And I realized that in order to make that as successful as the others, I needed to adopt a similar formula, but just change some of the key products. And it was this that made me realize why it is so easy and so successful for me to buy properties, because I have a winning formula, a process in place. And even though I am not a hugely process driven person, and I don't really believe in a one size fits all, I believe in entrepreneurial, seizing the opportunity and tailor making your own personal ability to make deals work. But that all said and done, I think that this really simple process, which is a guide to anyone and everyone all around the country, can work for everyone. And I have touched on a lot of these different points that I'm going to talk about in other videos. We just haven't called it a formula, or we haven't called it a process. But over the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've actually picked up quite a few property deals, not ones I was expecting to buy, and I wasn't even really looking. I've got quite a bit on my plate at the moment. But the reality is I can buy these properties and I can take them through my process and understand what my end result is going to be based on the success and proven model of that process. That it doesn't really matter if I buy too many. It doesn't add any more workload on for me. I don't get involved in the conveyancing. I don't get involved in the lending application. I don't get involved in the refurb. I don't get involved in the tenant process. So really the only piece of work for me is getting together my cash and making sure I can manage the cash flow through that project, and then looking after the tenant and collecting the rent at the end of it, which could be a matter of weeks, if not months away from today. And that was really powerful, because I can't say no to a good deal, but you can create a reason not to do a deal when you've got too much on. But if you follow a really simple process, which makes you step back and not get involved in any of the detail, and more importantly, doesn't bog you down with too much work, you can take on as many deals and projects as you like, as long as the key indicators are there. You can manage your cash flow, you have enough cash to put in the deal, and you're going to be able to rent it and make a profit at the end. Now, I just want to cast everyone back to the Mortgage Express days. Now, this was before my time. I wasn't really active in property, and I definitely wasn't in the buy-to-let sector when these mortgages were very ripe. And if you look at some of the individuals who took advantage of this Mortgage Express product, they weren't actually very savvy investors. They weren't even very good business people, and they definitely aren't the entrepreneurial, hungry driven investors of today. These were literally bog standard people who decided to take a little bit of a risk with a mortgage product that enabled them to buy properties with next to no money down, if not none. Now, even though I didn't have a Mortgage Express product, my understanding is that they did what they call a same day refinance. That means if you bought a property which was below market value, you could buy that property and same day refinance it at the higher value, meaning you didn't need to put a deposit down, or if you did, you got the money back literally the same day. This is close to 100% borrowing, if not exactly 100% borrowing. So for anyone who wanted to get into buy-to-let investing, we were able to using this product. And literally, people started buying properties like HMOs or standard residential using this product just because they wanted to become a property investor. There was no limit to them starting their property portfolio. Whereas today, there are a lot of limits. There's a huge amount of need for cash. There's a huge amount of requirement on knowledge and the type of property, the type of market, and who you're going to rent to. When this exited the market, a lot of these investors disappeared, or they never bought a property again, and they started forums and started preaching to people how to do it. When the reality is, if people can't be a successful investor in today's market using today's product, the reality is they aren't a successful property investor. But I believe that it's not worth crying over spilt milk. It's not worth crying over what you no longer have. It's about maximizing the opportunity of what you do have today. And that is the first thing. The mortgage product, which is going to be your enabler into buying properties without any hassle. And for me, this bridge to let product or bridge to let strategy using lenders who work with that product or a similar type of product is your first absolutely port of call. And understanding the process, the requirements, the valuation, the deposit amounts, the time frames, the ins and outs of that product enables you to pick a property, understand how much you got to spend on it, how much investment you're going to need to put into it, how long it's going to take, and then how much money you're going to get out the other end. This means that you can buy properties and you can literally flip them over based on their improved value, based on the works that you've done, converting it, splitting the title, turning it into a HMO, whatever it is. You can then recognize the true value, the higher value, and pull all of the money out, or some of the money out, or more money out than you've put into the deal. So this is the first part of the formula. Knowing how much you've got to put into a deal, how long it's going to take, and when and how much you're going to get all of that money out, if not a bit more. This means that you have a rinse and repeat product to buy properties. There is no limit. You're not going to run out of money because you're going to get that money out of the deal. And then you add that to some really small additions to your formula and your process, which is understanding exactly what type of properties that you're comfortable and content with. Me, I like easy properties. I want to turn these properties over in and out. So anything that I don't have to do a build out of the ground development, or anything that needs massive amounts of extensions, i.e. it can be converted within its existing shell, are quick wins for me. So that's kind of a tick box number 2. Anything I can split into multiple dwellings. So buying a shop with a flat, or a house with a barn, anything like that that can be split, means that you are going to increase the overall value for that project. Then knowing your team's limits. Now, I can build new build developments with professionals and builders that go out to tender, but what I really like is an easy life. So using my own builders, my own in-house guys on these things makes my life a lot easier. So that's part of the process and formula as well. Taking on projects that I can slip them into really nicely, and knowing that I don't even have to manage those guys. Some people will bring people in, subcontractors, manage it themselves. They always end up being in on site, people letting them down, and they end up physically doing some of the work. I can literally rock up to these sites once a week, once a month if I like, and forget about it and leave these guys to it. They know the end result, they know the requirement, they know how much they're getting paid, and they know the time frame they have to do it. Then there's the lawyers. So I use the same two sets of firms dependent on the type of project and dependent on the type of property that I'm gonna go for. But these guys know exactly the amount of involvement that I want, which is pretty low. They have my plans. I tell them exactly what I'm going to do with the property, and it's up to them to tell me if there's going to be any issues. If you have a lawyer that is really good at sending you a really long email and listing point for point for you to read and make a decision on, get a different lawyer, because you and I aren't trained legal advisors. They are. It's them to advise me. I know I can leave these guys to do their job well based on exactly what I want to do with the project, and they will literally tell me. Again, a process, a formula where I don't have to get involved. Now, the big chunk of this, which I haven't talked about, is the application for lenders, which can be time consuming. This is where you need to work with a consistent broker, the same broker every single time. Get a relationship and understand where they can really help you. Having them fill in the forms, put your details in, means that it's getting done in the right way every single time, and there is no delay. If I ever get asked to list my asset and liabilities, I couldn't even tell you where to begin, but my accountant can. So putting him in contact with a broker is a formula and a process that will enable that to go really smoothly, and more importantly, I don't have to get involved. And then right at the other end, when you're coming to sell it or rent that property, if you're bringing those people in towards the end, even maybe when you're at the design stage, to make sure that you're hitting everything for the right market, they will happily take that on and let that or sell that property for you for a fee, but it is all part of the hands-free process. And then that means that you can become an entrepreneurial property investor, focusing on getting the new deals, innovating, disrupting, and doing things that really matter and make the most buck for the bang. And it also gives you a huge amount of time, which you can spend doing the things that you love and the things that you enjoy. So there you have it. That is my secret formula for any property investor to use, broken down so you can try and understand it and try and fit it in with your geographical location, your target market, and your target properties, and also your desirability to be involved as much as you like. But look, that's it from me. Hope you found the content rich, and I'll catch you all on the next video.